Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Well, good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Now, I have a robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for us tonight. Plus, as you can see in the yellow letters there, we are welcoming back our good friend Rob Hilditch, who is here with us tonight. We could not be more excited about that. But before we get into all of that, I want to make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can see my face and hear my voice, I'm going to ask you to leave me a comment. Please let me know where you're viewing this from and whether you are a first-time viewer or a regular viewer. Now, to our first-time viewers, if this is your first time viewing the podcast, I hope you have a good time with us tonight, and I hope you decide to join us here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this podcast simulcasts to 8 different places across Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you're viewing this right now, just circle back in 1 week's time, and we'll be waiting for you with another fun-filled episode. Pardon me, my throat is not good tonight. Now, to our regular viewers who are here week after week, month after month, and season after season, you are the ones who make this possible, and we really, really appreciate that. So we're going to take a few comments, we're going to bring our friends on, and we're going to get this party started. Let's see, our good friend Ben from Vintage Mini Bike Lovers is here saying good evening, loud and clear, looking forward to another fun-filled episode. Now, we collaborate with Ben on the Vintage Mini Bike Podcast the second Sunday of every month. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, wherever you're watching this. If you enjoy those old mini bikes in the 60s and 70s, you do not want to miss that podcast. BCJ Vid says, good evening. Nice to see you. Keith Jash is here from Harwington, Connecticut. Great to see you. Annette is here watching on the Benedim channel from snowless Albany County, New York. Cool deal. Now, Benedim, that's one of the YouTube channels that we go out to. Our good friend Eric does that channel. Let me see if I can find the graphic. For that, give him a little love right here. Be sure and visit the Benedim YouTube channel. It's a channel just completely devoted to vintage snowmobiles. And let me get back to the comments here. All right, I just lost my place. Morris Daling is here from Minnesota saying hello. That the snow is all gone out there. Man, that's terrible. Mike Cohn is here saying hello. Nice to see you. Tracy Smizer is here saying hello. I was told this is a great podcast, so I'm going to be watching it tonight. A little birdie told me it was a great one. We're glad to have you here, and I hope you decide to join us here each and every Thursday night. Our good friend Mike Whiteside is here saying good evening to everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Rich Shad is here from wet and rainy Cleveland, New York. Great to see you. Ben is saying bring a truck to Oswego County, Ned. We're going to load you up. So I think he's got some sleds for you, or maybe some firewood. Who knows? Armin Budo is here, our good friend from Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, saying good evening. Great to see you. Good friend John Spranger Jr. is here from Eland, Wisconsin, saying welcome back to Rob. Outstanding. Dave Lowry is here from Alberta. Great to see you. Mad Dog is here. Randy from Wisconsin, looking forward to the show tonight. Good evening to all, loud and clear. We've got tons more of these. I'm only going to take 1 or 2 more, and then we'll get into the podcast, and I'll pop them on the screen as we go. But Kevin Culhane is here, loud and clear from Sudbury, Ontario. And our good friend Rob Grover is here from Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're going to be playing a video clip of some of his Articats a little later tonight. Let me remove this all from the screen here and bring our friends on. And we are officially getting the party started. Gentlemen, how are we all doing?
Good, Mike. Good.
Welcome
Welcome back, Rob.
Thank you.
Yes, it is great to have you back, Rob. Yeah.
Well, you
Rob,
and Mick did a good job. You guys worked together so well.
well, thank you.
Well,
We
thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we missed you though because we worked just as well with you, and yeah, missed you terribly. But we're glad
Yeah,
you're healthy again and back on the podcast.
absolutely.
Yes, yes. So let's get right into it. We've got our good friend Jim Leighton here. He's been on the podcast many times, probably a very familiar face to you. He's got an
Hi,
event he's
Jim.
working on. How you doing, Jim?
Wonderful, you.
Good, good. Now we've got a few things we're going to do with Jim tonight. We're going to be doing some show and tell a little later, so do not go away. You don't want to miss that. He always has excellent show and tell. But before we get into that, we're going to look at some images he sent us, as well as an event he's doing. You want to do the event first, Jim?
Sure.
All right. Here, I'll let you talk this up.
So, Snow Bowl. A couple of real nice guys out of Caribou next door own the racetrack for car racing and stuff, and they've built it up to become a huge event center over there. Snowmobile drag racing, mud runs, car races, all kinds of things. So they've extended into the winter, and they're doing a huge event. So Brian's Ride, which is what I'm involved with, is a cancer fund that we've been doing for about 10 years now and raised a little over $200,000 with a group of like 6 of us that goes all towards cancer patients. It's for them to be able to use for gas, for food, for hotels, to be able to make it downstate for treatments. So we've been doing good with that. We had a little snowmobile ride this year. Last year was canceled. But this year here, the ride went good. So continuing on to this weekend, there is a big event with, so it'll start out this weekend. There's going to be some racing going on, both new and vintage racing. It'll be at the mall in Prescal. That's the track is all set up. They've been working on that all week long, so there should be some really good stuff happening there. They also have the Ravex stunt show. They'll be doing that downtown on Main Street, and they have a AC/DC tribute band to go along with that. Sunday, pretty much all day. We're hoping to have another really good vintage show right there at the racetrack when they're racing on Sunday. So we had a real good show last year. We're hoping for another really good show this year there.
Well, that's great. So if anyone viewing this is in or near the state of Maine, you do not want to miss this event. Sounds like a whole lot of cool stuff is going on. Oops. You want to put that back up? You're going to take a picture of that, Rob?
We got the image of it. Okay,
There we go.
got like,
And I can send it to you after too.
that looks like a busy schedule.
It's a very busy schedule. These guys are they're on top of it. I mean, these guys are race bound at heart, and they are just trying to do everything they can to bring fun and enjoyment to the county. And they're really putting their whole thing forward on this one.
Nice.
Nice. That's cool. And I like that they're doing a whole weekend of it.
Hope we
Yeah.
get an update next week.
It's been a week-long event. We started last Sunday with a kickoff with a Brian's Ride, and then they've just done different things all week long. And there's even there's a magic show coming up one of these nights. There's a hill climb. I almost think the hill climb might be tonight.
Wow.
At the local ski resort. So
And I think the magic show is tonight too.
Yeah. I'm sorry I don't have that right with me about what's when, but it's a huge event, and just if you want to do something, there's a lot going on here for that.
That is awesome. In fact, let
And
me
the
pop
trails are
that
great.
schedule up there one more time. Yeah, it looked like the magic show was tonight, and the winter magic show.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Those are good times right there. And then I've also got some images that you've shared with us. Did you want to go through those real quick and talk those up?
Sure.
All right, let's pop this on the screen here.
There's my backyard as a kid. How could you not want to grow up like that, right?
Yes.
My father was huge into snowmobiling, as you can see. These are just a few of what we've had throughout the years. A couple of 440s, TNTs. The yellow and black one is the 669, and the one far to the right is the 440 Blizzard. You'll see a restore of that one in the later pictures here.
Nice, nice. In fact, let me get to the next image here.
You
Now,
mean me
here's
to
one.
the ball?
There's a picture of me and my dad. That sled, 1971 797 Blizzard. So the history behind that is he bought that sled brand new in 71 to race. Well, they make 251 of those sleds, and that is number 32 of 251 sleds.
32. Wow.
Yeah, it's a sled that he bought new from the dealer. He's always owned it. We sent it out. It went off to our friends Kiefer, the Kiefer family in Caribou, and they restored that one along with the 440 Blizzard. And so that one's kind of always been, that's always been right here in the family. And it's kind of a rare deal to have that sled. And, it's one that you can say that he bought new and rode it, raced it. And it's still here in the family. I was supposed to take it to Woodstock for the big vintage ovals over there because he raced that sled in Woodstock. There are a lot of people that show up with vintage sleds like this to just to take over for shows and stuff, and then they all sit around like we all do, right? And they talk about their sleds and said, I have this sled. I had a sled just like this, and I raced it here. But there are not a lot of people that could sit over there and go, well, I had this sled, I raced it here, and it's still my exact same sled that I raced here.
That's amazing.
Some pretty good heritage behind that. My father just passed last month on the 3rd. He was 95 years old.
Wow. Condolences to everyone.
Yeah.
He's lived he lived a life of he did what he wanted to do. I mean, racing was big in him, and he instilled that in us. And he was happy to be on a sled, a horse, a motorcycle, pretty much a boat. When I look in the trophy cabinet, the only thing I don't see in there are trophies from car racing because he never got into stock car racing, but he raced everything else.
That's awesome.
So, he was
Sounds like
born
an
in
amazing guy.
1929, so he's seen a lot of things.
That's
Did
cool.
you fall in his footsteps?
What's that?
Did you fall in his footsteps? Did you race?
Well, kind of. You can never keep up with him. My oldest brother Neil, which he passed quite a few years ago. He was a lot. There he is, right there with my dad. He's on the 669. Those two were the king of racing, right there. I followed in my dad's footsteps with mechanics. So when my brothers were racing motocross and snow, and he did snowmobiles and stuff, it was a mechanic thing for me. I love racing, I love riding, but I never get into it as heavy as he did. My brother Neil, it was definitely those two were the biggest competitors of each other.
Good picture.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And Tracy Smizer is here saying you're lucky to have that bond with your father. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep. That was not something we'll never ever forget.
For sure, man. And then our good friend Ben from Vintage Mini Bike Lovers says, sorry for your loss. Looks like your dad lived a full life. Glad to hear you have a lifetime of great memories with him. That's cool.
I do. Yeah. Never. Every time you turn the corner, there's always something that reminds you.
For sure. Yeah. And then we've got some sleds here.
So, the Blizzard, the yellow and black, on the left is that's that 797. Totally brand new restore back then. And the little 440 Blizzard, we'll see a picture of those two before they were restored. When there they are. They were down back in what we call our gravel pit, back behind the motocross track. And this is where we went and got them just before the Kiefers grabbed them and put them through a restore. And,
wow.
The other picture back is when they were totally done. The 440, that got sold out. Robin sold that to, I can't trying to remember where that went. I don't know if it went Wisconsin or I can't remember now, but it was really clean, nice sled when he was done with both of them, really. But my dad had a lot of memories and talk about the 669 and the 800. The 440, there was there was one story that he really kind of talked about, and the guys that he would ride with and race with talked about, because he rode these on the trail, or what was trails back then, just like he would take them on the weekend and go racing them when there was a race.
Wow.
The 440, he was out on a trail with 4 or 5 guys coming back from somewhere in the middle of the night, and the motor blew. And the guys were all like, well, what are we going to do now? And he said, well, I got to fix it. So he got his tool bag out and pulled the motor apart, the side that was blown, free air. So it was, fairly easy. Pulled it apart and took a piston out of his pocket, put a brand new piston in it, started it up, and then he rode home.
Wow.
Good
I mean,
story.
Yeah.
How many times do you do that, right?
Yeah. Talk about your trail side repair.
Trail
That's
side
amazing.
repair.
Spare spark plug with you, but never a piston.
Yeah.
That was just him. So,
That's amazing.
yeah,
And this is that sled from another angle.
yeah.
That's a beauty.
Yeah.
That is one nice sound in snowmobile. My father was in the living room in his hospital bed the day before he passed, and I brought that down and I had it outside the window, and we started it up, and his eyes opened up and he looks around and he's kind of mumbling about what's that noise, and my sister and brothers had opened up the window, and now he could really hear it, and he's like, I know what that is.
Oh, that's nice.
So we were able to run that, and then I took it with me, and we had it outside of the funeral home when he, that the day of his funeral, and I told my sister, I said, you're keeping me grounded, because if it wasn't for you, this sled would be inside the funeral home. And the guy goes, you know what? I had to let you do it too.
Absolutely. That's cool.
So,
that is the spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is him back in the heyday, correct?
Yes, this is 1969. The sled was brand new that year. I still have that sled. It's it's not as in good a shape as what it looks there, obviously, but I have the motor here in the garage, and the chassis is on the shelf, so it's not getting any worse for wear. But maybe someday I'd love to restore that sled. But it's
What was it?
it's a 1969 669.
Oh, okay.
So that had the carburetors that I can show you a picture of them later that go up and down. They're in a V. You can see it there on the picture. And that was one of the years they had a big race up in Caswell, and then after the race they had a jumping contest, and he won the jumping contest. I have the trophies, the newspaper article. I got a simulated, like a photo of it. It's hard to see it, but back then when they took the photo, he jumped that sled and won the jumping contest. He went over 45 feet with that sled.
45 feet.
You wonder
Wow.
why I still have it. It's not in the greatest shape, but it's there.
Yeah. That's wild. Those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So for people who are just joining us, we are just getting started. In a few minutes, Jim is going to do some show and tell, but we've got some, we want to do Amsoil and some announcements. We've got a video clip to play, but we're going to be coming back to Jim for some live show and tell. He's got some really cool sleds in that shop where he is. So do not go anywhere. We've got something really cool for you. But right now, Rob, if you're ready, we're going to put you full screen for some Amsoil. We haven't had a good Amsoil presentation here in quite a while, so we're way behind. We can't wait.
Now, I beg your pardon. I did one there when I first
Yes, you
came
did.
on.
You did. In fact, I think I've got an image somewhere. Here we go. You got an image of Midge. He uses Amsoil in that sled. Yes, you're absolutely right. So yes, if you're ready, Rob, I'm going to put you full screen, and he's going to give us the presentation.
There's what Mitch uses. The Dominator.
That's the
Yes.
stuff.
50 to 1 racing application. But if anybody trail ride, we have the Interceptor. Skidoo wants 92% no ass. This is 99% no ass. So if you want more horsepower and long range in life, that's the product to use. But for the old vintage stuff, that's why I got involved with Amsoil. Tim Bender approached me. I shot a 79 SRX, and it was 50 to 1 oil mixture. And Tim says, keep fouling plugs before you get to the line. When I was racing, he said, try Amsoil. And it's warranted at 100 to 1. And I said to Tim, I'm going to blow my motor up. He says it's warranted. At 100 to 1, I had twice the protection than what some of the other oils do at 32 to 1. So it'll give me more horsepower, more performance, and longer engine life. So for an older machine that you want to take out trail riding, and at my cabin, it's perfect because I got the 200 Black Max, I got the 50 horse on the pontoon boat, the 9.9, the weed whacker, the stringer machine, we got the chainsaw. Everything runs on one gas can, Amsoil, at 100 to 1. What a great product to have. And Amsoil has a big promotion thing out where they say we have a specialty oil for specialty engines. Most of the other companies put bids out. Whoever gives them the cheapest bid, that's who makes their oil. Not by quality. We go by quality. And Mike has a special deal where you can click onto the site and you can get the Amsoil catalog. The catalog has all the products in it, and it also tells you retail and preferred customer prices. So if you want to know how to save 25% on the products, you can buy directly from Amsoil, and that helps pay for this program. And right now, Amsoil has a promotion. If you order $49 worth, they're going to ship it to you free. So that's only 4 bottles of oil. So if you want some Amsoil, best way to do it, become a preferred customer. Phone the 800 number, buy it directly from Amsoil. Now, to become a preferred customer, click on the Mike's site. You can sign up right there and get the best possible discount. There's no minimums, no maximums for order. And if you got any questions, you can send us an email and we'll help you out for what product you need.
Absolutely. And we thank you in advance for using my referral number, which is on the screen there. When you use my referral number, you're helping to support this podcast, like Rob said. I'm signed up as an Amsoil dealer under Rob. So when you order using my referral number, he and I both benefit. And this is how we mitigate the costs of doing these podcasts. So we thank you in advance for doing that. And the people who have been doing that, thank you so very, very much. We really appreciate that. But cool. So, yeah, we've got a few more announcements here. Let me find the graphics. We wanted to talk about several weeks ago. We had Ray Lacasse on here talking about a vintage ride he's doing in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire next weekend, next Saturday. You do not want to miss that if you're in the area. It's a great show, a great ride, I should say. And they've got plenty of snow up there and will probably continue to for the next week. They've also got a sled they're raffling off at that show. Details, if you wanted to buy tickets for that, there's details. You call his phone number there, and they can set you up with some tickets. Seems like there was something else I was going to talk about for announcements. Oh, yes. Our good friend Carolyn Eastman sent me this today. This came out in the Grand Forks Herald newspaper out in Minnesota. So apparently they're having big layoffs. They announced this today, laying off 385 people at the Thief River Falls Arctic Cat facility. This is according to a letter from Textron. Now, here are some details about this. Their layoffs are a result of changing business needs that require Textron to permanently reduce its Thief River Falls workforce, according to the letter. Now, there was another critical paragraph in here that I wanted to read to you. Okay, so here, the second paragraph, Arctic Cat as a brand remains in operation, and Haddock said that the company is committed to providing service and support to its thousands of loyal customers who ride and enjoy Arctic Cat vehicles. They wanted to thank their employers, dealers, customers, and supporters for their loyalty and their patience and understanding as they weather the difficult conditions facing the business and the industry. So it's difficult to read between the lines on that. Is this a transitional thing or is this permanent? There's kind of a mixed message there, but our thoughts and prayers go out to one of our favorite brands.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And this hat, by the way, comes from our good friend Carolyn Eastman. This is Bob Eastman's wife that sent me that, and she's viewing here tonight. So with announcements out of the way, I had a video clip I wanted to look at, and then right after that, Jim is going to do some show and tell. Now, our good friend Rob Grover has an incredible collection of Arctic Cat cheetahs. He's getting 11 cheetahs from 1972 to I think 77 or 78, and they're all in wonderful shape. And he sent me a video. I put some music under it, and let me find it here. Yeah, here it is. Let's take a look. You're going to like this if you like cats. And it's just taking a moment to load here.
Mitch, you're going to sing for us?
Yes, the Jeopardy song. There we go. So yeah, thank you so much to Rob Grover for that footage. Boy, if you like cats, that is something to
Boy,
take
they're
in right there.
beautiful.
So any reactions to that as we're watching this?
I don't think you have to like cats to love those. Holy cow. I don't know
That
who's
could-
doing all the polishing, but boy, those things are shiny.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, my dad
Absolutely.
was going to give up snowmobile, and the guy talked him into buying a 72 Panther because he had a bad back. He couldn't ride the skidoos anymore. So he got a Panther and snowmobiled right up till a week before he passed away. He loved
That's
Arctic
amazing.
Cats. They were the Cadillac of snowmobiles back in those days.
They sure were a much
That
smoother
leopard
ride.
seat looked so good.
Definitely. Yeah, those
Yeah.
were the days. In fact, these cheetahs in the front, the 72s, we had a 72 440 cheetah when I was a kid, looked just like that third one
Yeah.
there. And that sled has everything to do with why I do these podcasts, these vintage snowmobile podcasts. And of course, we had friends
They
that had,
sounded
those,
nice too.
yes, very distinctive note with that Kawasaki engine.
What was that
Yeah.
last one, the blue one, Mike?
Which one? The last one?
Yeah,
Oh, on the other end.
yeah.
I'm not. Let me see if I
That's
can
a
read that.
Polaris Charger, SS Charger. And the blue one, I don't
Trackmaster.
know.
Yeah, it says Trackmaster on there, but I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah.
And I only know because I got into my face into the screen to see what it said on there.
Well, don't worry. Reese will send us a message what it is.
Reese will know. Yes,
Yeah.
Reese, we're hoping you're going to come through for us. But now Rob sent me another video, 18 minutes long, where he's talking up each of these sleds, going into much more detail. We're going to be looking at that on a future episode. So I'm kind of teasing people with that to kind of keep you coming back. But also another thing that I've teased people with is that Jim Leighton, who's our guest tonight, is going to be doing some live show and tell. So whenever you're ready, Jim, we're going to put your full screen, and if you want to switch that camera around.
All right, let me give this a try. You know how this goes.
Yes, and if it freezes up or anything, just log out and back in, and we'll just chat for a minute while you're doing that.
Yeah.
And we've got lots of comments coming in too. So while you're doing that, I'm going to catch up on the comments a little bit. Oh, so yeah, he's talking about those carbs from earlier, wondering if the position of those carbs made a power difference.
Well, they only did it for a couple of years, so I don't know.
You see that?
Yes, yeah, we can see that, Jim.
Okay, I don't have it full screen here.
All right, I'll put your full screen.
All right.
There we go.
Well, let's start with Arctic Cats then, if we're going to start and talk about those.
Yes.
So there's that's 72 kitty cat here, hanging right next to my 71 Arctic Cat there. Ben, he'll like that.
Yes,
A little,
he sure will.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little hill climber, I think is what that one is. So yeah, I wanted to have the two of them together, right? So I took me a while to find the mini bike, but I was able to find them. So now I've got them together. I'd like to take them to the shows once in a while together, and so pretty good shape. They both run good. The mini bike, I'm going to pull the motor this summer and just kind of really go through it, reseal it up, and put some new parts in it, and just make it so that it runs really good.
Yes.
So this was the carburetor setup that I was talking about. If you can see that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't go backwards here, but
So
Yeah.
somebody
Okay.
asked, what's the difference in horsepower with that setup?
yeah. So that's what you run on his on the 669. So
Did that give any
Then I
kind
got
of
a
a
little-
power advantage, Jim?
what's that?
Did that carburetor setup give any kind of a power advantage?
Oh, it had to have. I don't know the specs on it, to be honest with you, but it had to have.
Sure.
So see if I can come around here and get my camera right. For some reason, my camera's running backwards. I just built this bike this fall. Little snow bike. Took some tracks off in a snow blower and ski off a sled. Obviously, a little mini bike frame, and put that thing together. Got it all cleaned up and running. It's hard to see the color, but it's a deep purple color.
That is
So,
pretty
that's
clever.
something- It's kind of fun to take to the shows and just ride around the parking lots with, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Gets a lot of comments too, I'll bet.
Yeah, that one there is it's pretty neat. I I got a little more tinkering to do on it, but I've got her pretty well ready. I mean, I can roll across the parking lot with it. So
That's cool. Yeah, I bet
that's,
that gets a lot of looks.
I
yeah.
thought you were going to say you built that for your grandchildren.
Well, you know, she's only 5. I mean, she only has 3 mini bikes and 4 go-karts, but
Yeah.
and
Living the dream.
and her little snowmobile. So here's my this is a friend of mine did this up. He mocked up a 69 Eagle. If you remember the prototype Eagles that Bombardier built
Yeah.
for like a drag race in 69, they had 2 motors in them. And from what I can recall, there was a 399 version, a 669 version, and then an 800 version that had the hood. Obviously, the 800 was the 797 version. That's free air, so it had the hood chopped out of the front of it. But and then there was a bubble nose version that was a single cylinder 340, like a Blizzard, the 340 Blizzard motor. So, but this is, you know, it's pretty much kind of what it looked like, you know, back in '69 when they built it for the Eagle. Just a fun little thing that, you know, usually people when they see it, or they like, what the heck is that thing?
Yeah, very distinctive.
So
Double eagle.
yeah. So that was kind of a fun thing. My buddy Mark Edgecombe took the Callan and stuff and put it all together and did it up, and I showed a lot of interest in it, so he allowed me to have it. But I told him
That's a
he's
beauty.
a painter, so I had him sign the Callan
Oh yeah.
for me. It's the signature, but I've been slowly kind of finishing it up. You know, I've got a 340 Silver Bullet motor, TNT motor in it. You know, I'm missing a few parts here and there for it where I'm working my way through it. But the way he had the handlebars hooked up, they weren't really solid because he didn't really make it for any kind of a rider thing. He just kind of had it together as a show. So I've been working on that, put a gas tank in it and stuff. So that's kind of, you know, just something new to the shows here and there. Thought people might like it. You know, I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's
That's a showstopper.
Mitch, did they ever race those ovals?
What's that?
Did the Eagle ever race on the oval track or just drag race?
I don't know that it ever raced on an oval track. I only remember seeing videos of it doing, you know, kind of like drag races.
Basically drag racing. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy here, when in '69 when they had, and I believe it was the 399 version, when they had it in Caribou, it was when they had the 68 600, and they had both of them at the runway in Caribou and they raced them over there, and he actually took the picture of the two of them sitting side by side together, and he decided, you know, I don't know, a couple of years ago that he would build this thing just because he remembered it being there, and so we both kind of thought it was pretty neat, and then he was time for him to make room for something else, so I was lucky enough to grab that.
Yeah.
And bring it home and you know, have it for a little fun thing. So yeah, those are my little toys that I got right now. I got a couple of sleds out in the trailer. What was it last year, Mike, that we did the Blizzard, the walkthrough time with the Blizzards?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. We had all the
2 years
Blizzards
ago.
side by side, all the different
Yep.
generations of the Blizzard. Yes.
Yeah, we started in '71 and had then we had the 1980 5500, and then I think it was a 19 or 20 whenever they had that last Blizzard. We had the 3 of them together. That was so kind of, you could see the difference in time. That was pretty neat.
Yes, that was cool. See the
Yeah.
evolution of it.
Yeah, I say that we had a
There we
motocross
go.
track growing up. 1973 to 1983. We raced that track here in Limestone. I think it was 82. We were ranked in the top 100 tracks in the United States and Canada.
Wow.
We helped two other places in Canada, Drummond and Edmundston, run their motocross tracks the same time, and met a lot of good people and had a lot of fun. So, I was going to show you my garage is a disaster here. I haven't had time this winter.
That's all right. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Wow.
my
And that's your
father's
brother's name.
shirt that we all had one of these, and then used to announce the races. He announced them on a barber chair up on top of the roof. And the funny thing was, I think it was 80. Well, of course, I've got 6 brothers, 2 sisters, right? So the parties that used to go on down to the tracks. But in '86, when my brother graduated, things got a little out of hand, and the barber chair got thrown into the bonfire.
Oh,
And that was the year my graduated year after I did, and I got blamed for it, getting the barber chair thrown in because I was the older one and I should have been paying more attention. So years later, I think it's been 4 or 5 years ago now, I found this barber chair online and I went and bought it for him. And when he come up to my granddaughter's birthday party, and I said, "Listen, I got something for you." And I had this shirt on it, and a microphone, and I had it covered. And I go, "Look here, I found it for you."
that's awesome.
I told him
So,
I bought it from. I said, "Tonight, this thing is going to be priceless. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do with it."
did you get a good reaction from it when they saw it?
Oh, he loved it. He loved it.
Nice.
So, just got this motor the other day. Was kind of trying to think about what I should do with it. Not really sure yet. It's a 340, I believe, a 1975 free air TNT motor. Was thinking about maybe putting in the Eagle, or the other thought process is building a little 1970 bubble nose and putting it in that.
Yeah.
Both of them's good ideas.
That would be kind of fun. I just love the looks of them free air motors back in the day.
Yes.
So I was happy to get it. It actually came from the Allagash. My father's, who was he? My dad, I'm trying to remember now. Anyway, he had passed away, and a buddy of mine in Fort Kent went up, and they said he got a bunch of Skidoo motors. I went up and got him, and I was able to get this one off of him.
Yeah.
So kind of yeah. And then
Yeah.
that was, I hate that everything backwards for some reason, but what was it, 2010? We grabbed the sled down back. In 2018 we finally got it home here and presented to Dad too.
Wow, he must have liked that.
Yeah. Like I
That's
said,
nice.
there was 251 of those made. This is number 32. He raced it 71 to 73. And from what I understand, the cost was $2,500 brand new
Wow.
back in 71.
Wow.
So,
Do you know how
Yeah.
many are left?
I don't know exactly how many are left. I've never really heard. You see a lot of them. Actually, somebody on Facebook Marketplace just posted one with 100 and some miles on it. Never been restored.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so they're out there. And of course, the motor. There's tons of those motors out there because they had those motors and a lot of different stuff as time went on. And
Yeah.
they built a bunch of those motors, but the sleds for that year. So yeah, I think that's probably about it. Just some of my junk here, my cow things. I'm always working on something here in the garage in the corner.
That's cool. Yeah, we appreciate you showing us that. That's very cool. And while we were doing that, we had some comments come in. I'm going to back up a little bit. This Trackmaster, we had quite a few people answer us on what that is. So we've got Mike Cohn saying Columbia Trackmaster by MTD.
Sure.
Rob Grober says the same thing, but it's a 72, he says. Robert Ruffner said Trackmaster. And and then also with that single ski thing that you've got.
Yeah.
Mike Whiteside said that's a cool 7-Eleven grocery getter.
Yeah.
So very cool.
Something a little different.
Yes, for sure. And you're right, though. That's great for buzzing around at a snowmobile show. It's going to get a lot of looks and comments, and
Yeah.
people are going to want to have a photo opportunity with that.
Yeah.
That's pretty clever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, while we're in Jim's garage, do either Rob or Midge have questions for Jim on what we've been looking at? Or
Well, that Double Eagle, they had one at Timberland Machines, and I think it had two 669 engines on it. And they had Bruce Dunham test drive it up the airstrip behind Timberland Machines. He got about 3/4 of the way up, wide open. The ski leg broke, and the thing went end for end, and Bruce went with it and took an awful tumble. And this was before he went end for end with the Arctic Cat in 71. Bob Martin was telling me about that. He said they were all standing there watching him. And I broke a ski leg on that. And she dug in and over it went, end for end.
Jeez.
Yeah. If it was anybody else, it probably would have been hurt. But Bruce, tough old logger like he was, he shook it off and got up. And
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And Rob, any questions or comments, Rob? Or
Oh, I like the idea of the Eagles. Like, I've only seen a couple on display, but they were unique.
Yeah, they were
For sure.
fast.
Yeah, I obviously I wasn't, old enough to really remember the seeing them roll and go, but especially the one that came here. But when you see this stuff in pictures, and I'm like, I gotta have that. That's just cool.
Yeah.
yes, and David Lowery's got a comment here. He's asking, yes, and the answer to his question is yes. That Double Eagle had 2 engines. This is kind of a prototype or a tribute to it, so I don't think this one does. But the
This one
original
does
Eagle,
not. This is just a tribute, just an outside look-alike.
Yes.
Like I say, they had either 399s or 669s, and then they
Yeah.
had the one with the 2 800s or 797s in them. But this one will just have a single motor. It just looks like it on the outside is all.
nice.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah,
So,
I think they built them basically to beat the drag race record with them.
Oh,
That's what
yeah,
they
I
were
think so.
designed for.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't look like it turned very good.
Well, none of them did back in the day, did they?
No, it's true.
I love
That's when they
watching.
came out with carbides.
Yeah, I love watching the videos of those 797s and the King Cats out racing, and neither one of them can turn very good, and they get wide open in the corner until they bank off in each other or the snow in the corner.
That's hair raising.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. So we've got some footage that Jim sent us a couple of years ago. This is from a show that he was at in Fort Kent, Maine in 2022. And I'm going to roll this footage here, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll react to it on the other side.
All right, I'm going to see if I can get out of this and get back to the. We are the Can-Am Sled Dog Race in Fort Kent, Maine. We got a vintage sled show going on here. A few sleds. Get this through.
This thing is awesome.
A little different machine. We got some snow travelers. This one won the oldest prize today. Oldest sled. elite one, the most original sled at the show.
Okay, we got about 4 or 5 minutes. 5 minutes left, George.
A little black dot in the back of the trailer run the sexiest machine just to show.
Governor, I'm going to leave we have a vast array of trained, experienced mushers that have joined us today. Our first musher, the first one,
No, yours was a 9.
Milan, New Hampshire, Greg Vitello. Greg Vitello. Greg is an entrepreneur, owner of Northern Exposure. His 3 dogs are Hera, Aztec, Greg.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you, Jim, for that footage. That was really cool.
Yeah, that show is happening Saturday again in Fort Kent. We do that right along with the Can-Am sled dog races that happen. They do that. Those sleds or the sled dogs leave town right down Main Street. They've got a strip of snow, and there's 2,000 people there or whatever. There's a lot of people that hang out that place, and they so when they're doing that, the last group leaves at 11 o'clock. Once they've left, we take these sleds and do a parade down through town where the sled dogs were heading off to the race. And so we ride down through and turn around and come back. So
Yeah.
we get to show them all morning and then ride them down through for a parade.
That's nice.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Nice. And Rob, any reactions to what we've been looking at?
No, there's some unique machines in there. That John Deere, that Johnson, I don't remember a color like that one before.
Oh, on the end there, yes.
Yeah.
Must be an early one.
The 3-wheeler, it looked like something that Rupp made, but it looks smaller than the Rupp ones.
Yeah, it looks
So
like a
that
mini.
one is, that 3-wheeler is actually, that's the first production 3-wheeler ever made. That was designed by a college student. And when he graduated, he went around trying to find somebody to put this in production. And he ended up with Sperry Rand, which I believe was a typewriter company. So they built this version. They had like one with like a Springer front end on it. And they had a 6-wheeler. And they were all this color green. They built them from 68 to 72 or 73. And I think they made like 40,000 of them.
Wow.
So it was the first production 3-wheeler designed, and they came with a JLo single cylinder snowmobile engine in them. So
Very
this
cool.
one has all the original parts with the exception of the snowmobile engine. When I got it, they had blown the engine and they had taken the jack shaft out and the motor out and had a little flathead Briggs & Stratton motor in it. So I pulled that out and was able to work in a newer style motor, but I could never find the parts to put the single cylinder JLo engine back in it. But it's got the little diamond thing in the seat with the seat cushion. Got the toolbox underneath the seat. It has
Wow.
everything but the motor. So,
That's nice.
Wow.
yeah, that little hump in the back you can see, that was for the passengers. That's where the passenger sat, right there, that little hump.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Wow. That's a ride.
The gas tank is that whole back piece there in the back, that green. There's on one side is the gas tank. Those wheels are, I don't know, a foot or more wide. They're really wide wheels in the back and the front.
Wow.
So
Is that for flotation and sand or something?
yeah, sand. Actually, it was an all-terrain thing. It would actually float.
Wow.
We used to take it, and we didn't go very far out in the water, but we get it out in the water just enough to see it float, and then you didn't want to tip it, so you get the hell back in. And
Yeah.
when we were kids, so yeah, it had it. The smaller one had a ski. Couldn't find it, so I just designed my own ski and strapped it on. So because
Oh, yeah.
I took
see the
this,
ski on there, yeah.
yeah,
Have you
I
ever
drove
seen
this
another
down
one, Jim?
through the parade. So I could, because the rear wheels will float on the snow and the front wheel would just push the snow. So I put a ski on it so I could ride it through the snow in the parade.
Jim, have you ever come across another one of them?
And come across what?
Another one of those?
No,
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Me neither.
So the story behind these were when I was a kid. This isn't the exact one that my our friend had on the farm, but the three farmers from Limestone here, they were all out for a drive on a rainy Saturday, and they went by a place that was selling these. They stopped and they asked the guy what they were. He told them to take them for a ride. Well, all three of them bought them. They brought them home. And the one that I rode as a kid, I have no idea where that disappeared to. The second farmer, we don't know. And this one here was in the third farmer's barn. After his kids grew up and he parked it, he parked it in the barn and there it sat. I got a phone call. Do you want a three-wheeler? And I'm like, no, I've already got my little three-wheeler. I really don't know. I'm interested. And then I called back and I said, well, what is it anyway? Because my brother-in-law, he loves Honda three-wheelers. And they said, well, I don't know. It's just, he started explaining it to me and I go, I will be right over because I'm pretty sure I know what that is. And went over and sure enough, I said, oh yeah, that's coming home with me.
Wow.
So yeah, they were tri-sport, all sport. There was a bunch of them that had them that kind of looked like this one, but they had a Springer front end on them. This was kind of unique to this style. You had it had a throttle like a snowmobile. And you put your feet on the front. You can see the stirrups in the front, and turn the wheel. And when you braked, you push the handlebars forward, and that put the disc brake on in the rear.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Now the tri-sport, didn't that have almost like a chopperish looking fork?
Yes.
Kind of long.
Yeah, and I actually did a bunch of research on this one, and when I first got it, read the story about the guy, and I built myself I don't even know what I did with it. It's probably upstairs in my garage, but I built myself a billboard so when I take it to shows, I can put the billboard out so people can see it and know what it is, and how many they were made, and kind of gets the history of it. But
is this the billboard right here we're looking at?
yeah, there it is right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
yeah,
It's
we'll
nice
have
to
to
know
get
the history about it.
just
you'll have to get that out
again,
and we'll
something
bring
different,
that
right?
on. I'll have to bring that on the mini bike podcast sometime. I'm sure Ben would like to see that on the mini bike podcast.
Yep. Yeah.
And Midge, did you have any reactions to what we've been looking at here at this show?
Yeah, it's that was a great show, and boy, I can't believe the amount of people that were there.
Oh, there's a lot of people that show up to that place.
Big crowd.
Yeah.
And then this is your father's sled here, right?
It is, yes. Yep. And that was the 5500 that we had right there with it that day at the show that I did a few years ago.
With the blizzards all lined up.
With the three of them lined up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Now that citation, we had neighbors that had a citation like this, and it was so light that 3 or 4 of us would take that up and down the bulkhead stairs in and out of the basement every spring and fall.
Yeah.
And I don't think a sled any larger than that, you'd be able to pull that off, but that was small enough that you could.
Yeah.
But,
I think that sled right there, that 294, we're looking at the Blizzard, the 72. I think that's Tom Peters, but I can't tell for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see the side of it, but Tom's got one just like it. I'm not sure if that's Tom's or not. I can't remember.
Tom has his number on his. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't.
What
I
his
tried to
number
see on
is,
the
but-
side of it. It doesn't look like it does, but I can't tell for sure. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm not sure if it's Tom's or not.
yeah, trying to get a better angle of it here, but I'm getting further away.
Yeah, I don't think
No.
that does have a number on it.
I agree, yeah.
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 And then Ben from Vintage Mini Bike Lovers is saying, hey, I would like to see that tri-cart. I'm wondering what the view is from the seat under full power. Yeah, that's going to be a ride.
It would have been with that snowmobile, with that J-Lo motor in it. They'd run at 40, 45 miles an hour.
Whew.
It would roll right along.
Wow.
They were really fast in the when they raced them. You read the history on them. When they raced those, and when Articat come out with their that first trail tri-moto there, the little orange one they first come out with in 69 or 70, whatever it was, it would beat that. And it talked about how they were so worked up about that they petitioned so much to get their own race because, that they just weren't the same type of three-wheelers. So,
Yeah, nothing
and
else like it.
and again, that three-wheeler didn't go very far, right? I mean, it was only built for 3 years, I think, or maybe 4, and they didn't make a lot of them. So
Limited production run.
yeah.
Remember that
Yeah.
Rupp Mike that was on the that DVD you and I did? It looked like a miniature dune buggy.
Yes,
They
was
were
it the
driving
Centaur?
around the Grand Prix track there.
Yes, I think it was a Rupp Centaur,
And
wasn't
we
it?
found out it was a Rupp. It looked just like a mini dune buggy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Rupp built one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were using it to transport people back and forth in the pits and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So we've got one more video clip to look at, and hard to believe it, we're already up to the top of the hour here. But let's take a look at this other clip. This is another clip that Jim sent me. I don't remember what show it's from, but after we view it, and I'm sure Jim will be able to fill us in on all the details. But let's roll this here and take a look.
Presque Isle Civil Air Patrol doing a fantastic job with our national anthem there. One more time, guys, let's give it up. Thank you to the Civil Air Patrol for helping us out here with the national anthem and clean up around the grounds. Thank you very much, guys, for coming out. We really appreciate you having us here at the Snowball. All right, boogie, let's go racing. We got nothing but finals left for you here. It's going to be high flying, wild, and crazy racing action. We're so glad you all stuck around with us here this weekend at the Snow Bowl. And we saved the best for last year. This is going to be the most crazy racing action all day. First prize on the line is going to be our 200 stock. 200 stock. You drivers should be in the staging for your final.
I'm going to turn the volume down on this, so if anyone wants to comment as we're viewing, feel free to weigh in with comments.
I'm surprised
That was last
Snow
year at the
Buggy-
Snow Bowl.
Snowball.
Yeah, last year, the race.
Go ahead, Rob.
I'm surprised that snow buggy never got popular.
Hmm.
Looked like
Yeah,
a
the
fun
snow
play
bug.
toy.
Yes. Once this is finished, I'll go back to that. And this is Jim's dad's sled.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful sled.
There's one for Midge on the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, about a 68 TX. 78, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah. I had 68 in my brain. There was a 68 Deluxe Colt way back, and that was the second year that I rode snowmobiles. I had one of those with a 372 20 horsepower, and boy, would that thing ever go. For the year of it, it was very fast.
Yeah. That's cool. And for the cat lovers and Snowjet. Now I want to go back to that Snowbug. I've got a story about that once we get to it.
Yeah, Snowbug.
Now, when we were out at the VSCA show, and I think it was 2022 or 23, the one that was in Old Forge, they had this inside with a bunch of other sleds, and the owner must have stepped away because there was a family with some kids who jumped in that for a photo opportunity. And I'm thinking, God, if the owner knew you were doing that, they really need to ask before they just go sitting on sleds. Yeah.
That one belongs to my buddy up in Fort Kent. He's the one that's going to have the show Saturday at the sled dog races. He found that and built that and brought it last year for the first time. First time
Wow.
I seen it was last year. I think I think those used to have a Satch motor in them, single cylinder.
I believe you're right. Yes, the
yeah,
Sachs.
He couldn't find one, and he put just put a single cylinder Polaris engine in it. So I told him when I was up there and got this TNT motor from him, I said, I've got a couple that I'll bring you up so you can change them. One of them's the bigger, whatever that big one is, that the single cylinder is for that. And he's got a Caribou that would work perfect in, because the motor that was in it just didn't have enough power to really pull that Caribou around.
Yeah.
So
So who made the Snow Bunny?
Who made the what?
Is the Snow Bunny a brand or is that the model?
Snowbuck. I don't
They
know.
made them in
That's
Canada.
Were they? First time
Yeah,
I'd
they're
ever seen one was
Canadian
last
made.
year. So, kind of neat. They don't turn for nothing, but no.
Oh yeah.
This
Now
one
is
was
that a
really
twin
bad.
track or a big wide or big single track?
I think it's a twin track.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, cool. In the final minutes here, I wanted to give Jim one last chance to give a plug for his show that he's doing this weekend. Did you want to tack that up for a minute, Jim?
Yeah. If you're close, you want to see some fun stuff, some really good racing, some stunt shows, lots going on this weekend in right here up in the county in northern Maine. So, this Snow Bowl, there's a lot of stuff happening. We're hoping to have a nice big vintage show between Fort Kent and on Saturday and here on Sunday. So if you're close or just want to come on up and enjoy the fun.
Yeah, that looks like a great time
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then we'll go clockwise around the screen for closing comments. Midge, closing comments?
Oh, great stuff there, Jim.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
sled. Yeah. I can't believe how nice they turned out with the way you dug them out of the grass there. How bad they were when you dug them out, and how nice they look after you finished them.
Yeah, the Kiefers there from Carewell, they
Really
amazing
nice.
job. Those guys they have a lot of
Excellent
help.
job. Look at that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Jim,
Yeah.
final closing comments or?
No, just thanks for having me on again. And till next time, I'll have to put my head together and see what else I can come up with for something different to show.
Definitely. Yeah.
I
Anytime
think
you
we've
get
been
something
around.
to
I
show.
think we've been around the block. I don't know that there's anything new right now to show you after all the time we've been doing it. But
Sure.
we can do something.
Definitely. And if you ever know of a friend that has some sleds in a garage with good lighting and good Wi-Fi,
Yep.
maybe go to their place and go from there or something.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Tom Peters sometime so Tom could be on, help
Yes.
him out and do it. We'll see
That
how
would be
how
exceptional
works
because I
out.
would love to get him
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. That'd
Love
be
to bring
great.
him on.
Yeah,
Yes.
'cause
And he and
Tom's
I have talked
close.
about that. He and I have
Yeah.
talked about that many times, and I think it's difficult for him to do it on his own. But maybe if you're helping him, that might be able to. Maybe we
Yeah,
could
I
put it
mentioned
together.
to him before, set the stuff up. We'll come on over and help you out through it. And, we'll
Tom's
see.
a
Maybe
nice
we can get
man.
him to do it.
Yes, wonderful man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. And Rob, closing thoughts?
Jim, I like your collection. And are you going to
Thank
do a
you.
video this week of the show?
I'm going to try to get some pictures, maybe some video, see, what's all going on and how things are rolling. And I should be
Nice.
able to, I'll at least get some videos of the, I say that and then I'll forget because it's too busy, but I'll do my best to get videos of the shows coming up this weekend.
Sounds
Excellent.
great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, cool. Well, yeah, it's that time to wind it down and give the last word to Amsoil. But thank you so much to Midge, to Jim, to Rob, and all the viewers tonight. It was a great podcast. I had a really good time. And we've got a few last comments here. I'm going to pop them on the screen. My voice is failing, so I'm just going to pop them on the screen. Oh, here we go. Oh, pardon me. Max Garage says Norrent Steel Company in Sudbury, Ontario made the Snowbug.
Oh,
There we go. Learning new things.
There it is.
Cool deal. Oh, and Kevin Culhane says, "Nice to see you back, Rob." Yes, that is.
thank you.
We
Yeah,
we
very
echo
nice
that.
to see you back, Rob, and I'm glad to see you're on the mend.
Thanks, Mitch.
Definitely. All right. With that, we're going to give the last word to Amsoil, and yeah, catch all of you next week.
All right,
1
good
week
night.
time, circle back.
Good show. Glad to be back.
Yes. Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. Taking a minute to play here. Now, today we're going to be talking about Amsoil, and in a few moments we're going to show you how you can. Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today we're going to be talking about Amsoil, and in a few moments we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your Amsoil products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what Amsoil is and why you should consider using Amsoil products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. Amsoil is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses Amsoil for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that Amsoil is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because Amsoil doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form